And I said, oh yeah, that's your first name. So that's how we started. We chatted for a little bit, found out we're both from New York. You'll hear from his accent in a few minutes why that's pretty obvious. He has the Guinness Book, still holds the Guinness Book World of Records for reading more than 25,000 words a minute and writing more than 100 words a minute. I thought I did pretty cool with 125 words a minute at Evelyn Woods. He is the spokesperson for, among other things, the Sony e-reader and Justin Timberlake. And I'll let him decide whether he wants to say anything about Justin Timberlake's performance at the Super Bowl or not. He's created more than 14 accelerated learning programs, including the Bergtime Warner book Super Reading Secrets. It's in its 28th reprint. And he has done Nightingale Conant's program, Mega Speed Reading, which grossed over $65 million. I said, you made $65 million and you're still here? He goes, read it again. It says grossed. He didn't pay me that. So without further ado, I guarantee you he will not talk at 25,000 words a minute. But it's my pleasure to introduce Howard Stevenberg.
Before I begin, I'm also the program director for Rotary for the Dallas district, and I book speakers for the E-Club. If any of you would like to speak at an E-Club meeting, you could do it online on your computer. Let me know. I'm always looking for interesting people to put online, and I also have a blog online that I just started and had 80,000 views already. So if you'd like to be interviewed in that, let me know. I'll be happy to interview you. With that, let me get started. See if this thing will work. Take this off. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Ah, there it goes. Okay. All right. You got to be better than your equipment. I was at a workshop in Houston a few years ago, and they were using their equipment, and in a 20-minute TED Talk, the projector went off after 10 minutes. And there's no time. You got 20 minutes. So I said I made the slides. I should know what's on them, so I just kept going. Would you agree that the best learning comes from learning from the best? So if Bill Gates would teach you business, that would be a phenomenal opportunity. If you like basketball, if Michael Jordan would show you how to throw the ball, or if my friend Peyton Manning would show you how to throw a football, that would be great. Well, Bill, Michael, and Peyton couldn't make it. And I'm here instead. And I'm considered their equivalent in my niche. I not only have the Guinness record for reading fast, but I also teach people. I had 11-year-olds going to college and getting A's consistently in a week on college level courses. So I'm going to show you some of the things I did. And I want you to get ready for a life-changing experience. Would you like to learn faster? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Perfect. Would you like to become more productive? Say yes. Yes. And have more time doing things you love. And that's what I'm going to teach you. I'm going to give you 5 skills. I'm going to show you how to read fast, how to understand better, how to remember, some math magic, and emotional intelligence skills, which I think are the most important of all the skills. If you learn anything, it's learning how to get along with people and communicate. That'll get you through even if you have none of the other skills. That's the single most important thing. I want to make it fun. I think learning should be fun. And take notes. Everything I'm teaching you for business can be used by young people for school. Right now there's a 50% dropout rate in 4-year school and 70% in 2-year school. And the average person finishing a degree now takes 6 years to do a 4-year degree. My kids are doing it in 2.5, 3. So it's a much better way to do it. Time will fly by, we'll make it fun. This is one of the kids, Micah. He passed the bar at 19 in California. Sounds like a fluke. His brother's 22. He's a flight instructor. He's actually working now at Alaska Airlines. And his 15-year-old sister will be the youngest person to pass the bar in California. And his 17-year-old brother is the second youngest. He's in his second year of law school. All using what I'm going to show you today. Because I also struggle with my books and magazines and mail and email, just like everyone else. But I figured out how to read fast. And it started in Brooklyn. You may have noticed I don't have a native Texas accent. I've been here about 23 years, 22 years. But I still sound from a New York perspective. I grew up in the projects. which was a really bad place to grow up. You probably, the Linden houses.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it was all gangs everywhere. You know how bad it was. Where I grew up, we moved when they raped an 88-year-old man. That's how bad it was. When I say it was bad, it was really bad. I've had knives to my throat. My dad was pistol whipped. That's a bad place to grow up.
We moved when they blew up a car in front of our apartment.
There you go. That's Brooklyn. It was like that. That really was what it was like living there. But I found one safe place, the library. The gang kids would never go to the library. It wouldn't matter what was happening. They'd never go in the library. It's like churches and vampires. They don't go there. So I went there to read, and I found it was the safest place to go. And I was reading like the Theory of Relativity when I was 8. By the time I was 11, I had college reading. And I was in college at 17. I went to the State University of New York, Binghamton. It's often called the poor man's Harvard or the Berkeley of the East Coast. It's a tough school, very tough school. Major in biology. In my junior year, I got interested in the brain. I wanted to be a psychobiologist, not a psychotic biologist, a psychobiologist, the biology of behavior. And they said, you can't, you're a junior, you had no courses in psych. You have to do the 4-year program in 1 year. Take 6 science courses at once, 18 credits of science with 2 4-hour labs. And back then you did the lab reports on slide rules, so it took 16 hours. So it was 40 hours of lab report and lab without the courses. And I had 3 part-time jobs. I was working 18 hours a week. And I did it. I finished it in 1 year, took the GRE in biology, which is like an SAT for graduate school. In 3 nights, I read books like biochemistry, cell physiology, genetics. I got 3 questions wrong. So when people say, do you remember anything? I was in the 99th percentile. And then I wondered if it was me or if it was a learnable thing. And here I had a school with 11 to 15-year-olds. We taught them how to do it. They did a 30-chapter book in lifelong developmental psychology, a sophomore course in 1 week. Took the CLEP, C-L-E-P, and in 1 week, 15 out of 18 youngsters passed the CLEP for college credit. So it isn't that I can do it, I can teach it. I always thought that was much more important than doing it. That means other people can do it. The program did make $65 million. I didn't get $65 million. Part of it was the guy doing it was Kevin Trudeau. So if you know who he is in prison now, if you're familiar with Kevin, everyone else watches him make the money. He's very, very unethical person, and I guess I screwed out of $7 million basically. But you live and learn. We did a double-blind study on the program, and 100 random people took the program with a Nelson-Denny test, which is a test for speed and comprehension. Everyone in the sample doubled or more in 4 hours with no loss of comprehension. I helped launch Comedy Central with Dennis Leary, and I was Jon Stewart's first guest. You don't usually see biologists do comedy. Would you like to see why? There's a reason. Okay. Mushroom walks in the bar. The bartender says, "Get out, we don't serve your kind." The mushroom says, "Why not? I'm a fun guy." And that's why you usually don't see. Yeah, there you go. Well, they like that I can make people laugh and then show them how to be brilliant. So they put me on 9 times on Dennis's show, and John had me as his first guest on his television show. And that was exciting. And overall, I've been on about 1,100 shows. You may have seen me with Justin and Amy and Peyton for Sony. And this is me reading the healthcare bill on Cavuto. It was originally 1,500 pages. That's the last 30, 40 pages. And I read it in 50 minutes and did an analysis, and everything I predicted happened. So while you're watching it, think about how it could help you. First problem, information overload. More is printed in a week than all human history through the year 1800. Every 6 months, information doubles, which is why you feel overwhelmed by what you need to know. We live in a knowledge-based economy. And all that's now online, so you're literally drowning in data. So let me show you how to read faster. When you leave here, get a book you've read, preferably nonfiction. Time yourself for a minute, use a smartwatch or a phone, and read for 1 minute in the first chapter the way you read. And at the end of the minute, take a pencil or pen, put a line in the margin where you finish. So you know that's how far you read in a minute. Nothing special, that's your normal speed. Now I'll show you the secret sauce. Go to the second chapter. Use your hand and go from the left to the right margin, all the way across with your eyes following your hand, one line at a time, as fast as you could comprehend. And as long as you know what you're reading, go quicker till you don't. So you actually say, that's where it became too fast. And slow down just enough so your comprehension comes back, and for 5 minutes, go as fast as you can comprehend, all the way across and not down the middle. When you're done doing that, go to the first chapter again and time yourself again for a minute using your hand. And you're going to blow past that little mark you made by 10 to 30%. Just doing that one change. And you have my permission to share this with young people, you know, who need this for school. One reason I joined Rotary is they're very big on education. They do a lot of things with young people. And everyone joined for a different reason, but for me it was education. Speaking of education, that's Stephen, one of my students. That's a picture from graduating UTA at 16 with a 4.0, majored in economics. Backstory, he finished at 15. His mother wouldn't let him go to graduate school until he was old enough to drive. And you got to be 16 in Texas. She made him go an extra year. He went for a master's in math at 18 at OU. And they paid him $27,000 at 18 to teach math in college to undergraduates. Gave him room, board, books, and tuition. Stephen's biggest challenge, they wouldn't let him date undergraduates because he was a teacher. He said, I'm 18, who am I supposed to date? I said, nobody. You're going for a master's in math and working full time. You haven't got time to date. Date when you go home on vacation. Just don't complain. They're giving you $27,000 a year tax-free. You're 18 years old. Free room and board, free graduate degree. You got nothing to complain about. And then he got a 397 GPA, graduated at 19, with a master's in math. Was terribly upset because he'd never gotten a B. He got one B in his last course. And he says, what do I tell my mom? I said, Stephen, you had a 4.0 and a 397, you're 19. I think she's going to keep you. And she did. She did keep him. It was a happy ending. And I believe he got his PhD from the London School of Economics after that. So that was exciting. But would you agree that comprehension is more important than speed? We were talking before, Evelyn Woods. A lot of people took in, you're very disappointed. They did speed up. Then you went to learn something, and you couldn't learn it. You had to slow down and learn words or names or numbers or facts. And whenever you did that, you lost your speed. So people would get really, really fast, and then their speed would go right back where it was after they spent $600 and had a very bad reputation. The guy who owned the company paid me to train his son on my method. I'm more interested in learning than speed. And I made a Swiss Army knife. I use reading to find what I don't know and need to learn, and I know how to find it. I teach that. And then how to remember it, and what do you do if you didn't understand it so it makes sense, and then how to get in the state you need to use it. So it was a little of everything, not just simply reading, and that worked more effectively. And the secret to comprehension is in one word, schema, which is a psychological term. It's what you know already. If you're reading, the man drank a glass of water, you don't go, wait, what's a man? What's water? What's drinking? That's schema. You understand it because you can see words that make sense to you. If I said, look at the Agilis Phoenicius, now there's no schema, so it makes no sense. So I've created a passage here, and it's on your activity sheet, and you can follow along. This has no schema, and watch how confusing it is. This is an easy thing to do. Many people are able to do this at an early age. Be careful not to rush, or you may have a serious problem, and you don't know what it's about. But on the next page, I have a title with 2 words that have schema. And watch how instantly the same text is effortlessly comprehended. Bike riding. This is an easy thing to do. Many people are able to do it at an early age. Be careful not to rush, or you may have a serious problem. And now it makes complete sense. So by teaching people how the brain makes sense of text and what's important and where to find it, you're not just going quicker, your understanding goes up as well at the same time, which was not the case in these other programs. So what are you doing in your businesses to make the data you tell people, what you tell them, easy to understand? A lot of you have very technical backgrounds. The people you speak to don't have your background. You use words like Agilis Phoenicius. They aren't going to know what you're telling them. Like when a doctor gives you a Latin term for an illness, which is like you got a sore throat, and like it sounds like you're dying. Well, you're alienating your prospects and clients unless you communicate on their map, not yours. So it's very important to use meaningful words for their map. You could use this to be able to cut time in half, stay on top of laws, rules, regulations, changes in technologies you need to know. You could finish your reading list in days instead of weeks. Ultimately, you make more money. I've read about 30,000 books, so I'd like to think if I was an idiot, I'd be well informed. Every decision you make is based on only one thing, what you know. So if you did something based on a book, it didn't work, you're kind of screwed because it didn't work. If you read 10 books with 10 different ideas, now you've got options, other choices, or you see ways of combining different things people have done in a new and unique way no one thought of, like Amazon did, or Facebook did. And what happened? They made a lot of money. Most of your very successful entrepreneurs took something that was being done somewhere else and used it in a new niche that no one in that niche thought about because they never looked at that something else. And they became the leader in that niche. So it's very important to be able to read not just in what you need to know, but other places where you might get insights and ways of innovating in your own niche, ways that haven't been thought of before, so you become super successful. Another one of my kids, Justin, normal kid, not a genius. Stephen was a genius. I'm not going to say he wasn't. That's a genius. This kid was a C student. He went to the program. He finished high school at 15, got his associates at 17, BA at 19, master's in English at 21, became an English professor at Tarrant Community College at 22. C student. We had a special ed student, Amy, 9th grade. She had 3rd grade reading. And they were basically training her to say, welcome to Walmart. And that wasn't the future they wanted for her. So we took her in. We didn't know if we could help her, but they worked really hard. When we got done, she finished her associates. When the kids in high school she went to school with got BAs, high school degrees. So she had a 2-year college degree with a 4.0, went to Baylor on a full scholarship, got out of Baylor and got a master's after that. And now is a special ed student. So if you give them the right tools, you can do some pretty cool things. That's what excites me. You know, me being in Guinness, it's nice. It gets people to book you into clubs. Okay, it's a shtick. It's not a come on, but it's a hook. It's a hook. But to me, that was never what was significant. This is much more significant. Now, this is the single most important skill of all. It's called emotional intelligence. I thought I'd do it a little differently because I've been here before and I wanted to show you something interesting. Would you volunteer to come up? Is it okay? I won't hurt you, I promise. If you could just stand next to me. Now, hold your arm out. Face me. And I'm going to push down. Don't let me push it down. Resist it. Okay, hold it. See how strong she is? Perfect. Keep your arm out. I want you to look down and think of something horrific, the worst thing you can imagine. And I'm going to push while you do it. Think about it. What happened?
Okay.
Stay there.
Yeah, you're right.
Did it change the physical strength in your arm, right? Look up. Think of something absolutely fantastic, the most amazing, wonderful thing. Don't let me push down. What happened? The strength is back. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't want to know what I thought.
No. Okay. Hope it didn't involve me. Well,
it's always my children when you think something.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
But the thing I wanted you to see is that her physical strength shifted just thinking. Okay? Think about how your emotions go throughout the day. Just imagine what you're doing to your productivity and performance. Just thinking something negative for a second dramatically changed the physiology. What if you could control that? So I thought I'd show you how to get energy. A lot of you go to school at night or you take late meetings and your energy drops, drive home in traffic. In Dallas is some pretty bad traffic. Not New York bad, but bad enough. And I'll show you to wake up. So if you could stand up and stand back from the table so you don't bang your knees. Remember, I warned you because there's always somebody jams their knees into the table. Now, I'm going to show you to get energy. You know, the left side of the brain controls what part of your body? Right. And the right controls? Take your left hand, touch your right shoulder, do it. Right hand, touch your left, and alternate like the Macarena without music. Perfect. Do the same thing to your opposite knee, left to right, right to left. This is where you bang, so be careful. Notice you have to think a little, because both sides of your brain are doing something. Raise your right hand, put your thumb in your hand, and squeeze, and say, I feel great.
I feel great.
Yes.
Yes.
Passion. Perfect. We'll do 3 sets of these, starting with shoulder taps. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. How do you feel? I feel great. Yes. We're going faster. Watch your knees. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Yes. Go as fast as you can. Watch your knees. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do you feel?
I feel great. Yes.
Do something big here. Smile. Feel great. Sit down. Now.
I'm exhausted.
It's like marriage. Hey, I tell everyone
I'm 70. Watch.
my first marriage was a storybook marriage. Unfortunately, Stephen King wrote the book. But I have a good one now. My wife's really nice, and but I appreciate her more having been in the other situation. I think if you're in the wrong one, it's about the worst thing you could have in your life. And if you're in the right one, it's the best thing you could have in your life. So I've been on both sides of the equation. So I do appreciate her. What I want to know, how do you get something? Well, you do this once a day for 90 days. The latest studies show it takes 90 days to make a habit. And if you remember Pavlov, you rang a bell, fed a dog, rang a bell, fed a dog. What's happening is you're feeling more alert because you're stimulating both sides of your brain and going quicker. And each time you felt more alert, you went, I feel great. Yes, that's your bell. So now you're in an important meeting. You don't want to start hitting your shoulders. It's not going to build rapport. But you can go under the table with your fist and go, I feel great, yes. And your brain is going to remember the way you felt every time you did this for 90 days. And you wake up. Same way you can learn to relax, you can learn to focus, creativity, you can switch on a state that can help you succeed. Okay, I'm going to go a little faster. I'm going to go right to memory because we have a limited time. I got the 10-minute signal, so I'm going to go to the memory thing. And if you could hand these out, that would be great. We're doing memory.
That's the one? Okay.
Just one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, people will often say to me, do you remember what you read? And the answer is yes. And I'm going to show you secrets to speed memory. I'm going to give you 10 things to remember and then show you how. You want to remember pole, shoes, tricycle, car, glove, gun, dice, gate, cat, and bowling pins. And if you're like most normal people, you don't know all 10 things right now. Not backwards and forwards, at least. In 3 minutes, you'll know the whole list backwards and forwards with no effort. And it's not just an exercise, it's a tool you will want to use. So do this with me, interact with me. The latest studies show reading gives you 10% learning. Saying and doing gives you 90%. There's a big difference between 10 and 90. So do this with me. The Greeks discovered thousands of years ago, if you associate a list you know to the list you want to learn, it takes a fraction of the time. I know you can count to 10. That's a list. And we're going to use those 10 things to learn 10 new things. A 1 looks like a pole, like the flag pole. It looks like a 1. So when I say 1, you say pole. 1.
Pole.
Perfect. 2. How many shoes do you wear?
2.
What's 2?
Shoes.
What's 1?
Pole.
Perfect. 3 is a tricycle. How many wheels are on a tricycle?
3.
What's 3?
Tricycle.
2.
Shoes.
1.
Pole.
Getting smarter. 4 is a car. How many wheels are on a car?
4.
What's 4?
Car.
What's 2? 2. 1.
Fall.
3.
Tricycle.
Jumping on purpose. We're not going in order. We want to associate. 5 is a glove. How many fingers are in a glove?
5.
What's 5?
Glove.
What's 3?
Tricycle.
What's 1? Perfect. 6 gun. They love them in Texas. 6 gun. What's 6? 4.
Car.
2. Lucky 7 and dice. Lucky 7. 7 is dice. What's 7?
Dice.
What was 5? Glove. 3. 1. Perfect. Rhymes work. Say 8 skate. What's 8? 6. What do they love in Texas? Guns. 4.
Car.
2.
Shoes.
9. How many lives does a cat have? What's 9? 7 is lucky in. 5 is a. 3 is a. 1 is a. Last one. 10 bowling pins in a lane. 10 bowling pins. What's 10? Let's do all 10 now. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8 rhymes with. 9 is a. And what's 10? Bowling pins. Give yourselves a big hand. And how does that make you feel? Great. Perfect. Excellent. That's pegging. Here's how to use it. Suppose you're learning the value of pi to measure a circle is 3.14. No one remembers it. 3 is a tricycle, 1 is a pole, 4 is a car. Change numbers to pictures. Tricycle hits a pole on a car. Tricycle hits a pole on a car. Tricycle, what number?
3.
Hits a pole
1.
on a car.
4.
That's pi. You can use it to learn numbers in your businesses, statistics, formula, due dates, percentages. Your kids can use it in science, in math, and in history. Anywhere there's a number, it's easier to make a movie out of the pictures than it is to learn the number. And that's a shortcut for number memory.
Can you do it with names?
Yes. After we're done,
Okay,
because
all
you gave me 10 minutes, I'm trying
sorry.
to cut back. But yes, and it's in my memory program.
All right.
Actually, it is. I call it the Learning Tsunami, and here's one of my kids. Brad did college in 6 months, 4-year college. Got his BA at Thomas Edison, where you can do 90% CLEP. So if you're looking for a fast degree, a real degree, it's Rutgers program. Thomas Edison, you could CLEP out of 90% of your classes. And he's a genius. Most people cannot do this in 6 months, but a normal person could do it in 2 years, 2.5 years, really comfortably. He was frenetic. He became a missionary and then learned Chinese in 3 weeks. So not your normal person. But he did do it. I did a graduate course, educational psychology, in 7 hours. And I took the AP test in 50 minutes. It was a 6-hour test. I got a B+. Didn't get an A, got a B+. But I got 4 graduate credits for $65 in less than 8 hours. So I was okay with that. I didn't really care that I didn't get an A. This is what I have. It's in my bag. It's reading, writing, memory, and math. It's on DVD. It's also online, so I'm giving you both. Some of you have grandkids or kids or nieces and nephews. I want to help them. So when you get the physical program, you'll have a link you can give to the other members of your family to help them as well. And I don't limit it to how many you help, because I'm interested in making a difference. That's part of what I'm about. If I can make money and pay some bills and help a lot of people do better, that's a win for me. Then if you need help, I give you my cell phone. And I will personally help you. You can text me, say I'm having a question, or my niece is having a question, they can text me, and I'll help them. And if it doesn't work, I'll give you money back. That's one of the things in Rotary, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? My feeling is if someone is trusting you to give them something, you should give it to them, and if you can't give it to them, give them the money back. And help them if they need help. And that's, I think, the right way to do business. The reading program, we guarantee you'll read 100% faster in 4 hours, permanently. It's that easy. And you could do this with anyone over 11. We've had people as young as 3rd grade, but they were very smart and very motivated. Most 3rd graders don't have patience for 4 hours. What you do with the younger kids is memory. So it helps you in business make money, so you can make it a business expense, but it helps the kids get out of school. Right now, there are more young people between 24 and 40 living with their parents than married right now. They can't find work. And they say the next 10 years, 30% of all jobs will be gone because of artificial intelligence. Cars will drive themselves, trucks will drive themselves, waiters, waitresses, all gone, all gone. And by 2050, there'll be no jobs left for anyone, doctors, lawyers, no one, no one. So it's about learning. It's about learning. It's the only way you're going to stay employed in that environment. Writing is how to eliminate writer's block. I wrote a book in 5 hours, went #1 on Amazon. Why write a book? Because you want to be the expert in your niche. Whatever it is you do, someone else is doing it. Why should they go to you? Because you wrote a book, and that makes you an expert, and they aren't. And so you give the book away online to build your list. I don't know if you're aware of this. As you get your list built, you can upload it to Facebook. And Facebook knows these people, and it will make a lookalike list. And so you can get millions of leads off of Facebook from people who are just like the people buying your stuff. So getting a list is very, very important, and one of the best ways, you got to bait, is to have a book that they'll want about what you do that helps them. I just wrote a book for kids that are on teams to graduate. A lot of these kids are getting pushed off the team because their grades aren't high enough. They lose their scholarships, the team suffers. So I wrote a free book, and I gave them some of the things I just showed you, which are very valuable, very helpful. And then I offer them a free consultation, because I know if they talk to me, a large number of them will wind up wanting more. And if they don't, well, I help them. I could live with just having helped a few people. As long as somebody else buys something, I could keep doing that. And I think that's a good way to do it. Then I have memory for names, facts, details, numbers, everything else, and speed math, which I didn't have time to show you, but it's super fast math in your head. The program, when I do like GKIC, I know Dan Kenny and Zig Ziglar very well. Zig's dead now, but I used to lecture with Dan and Zig like 30 years ago. And I charge like $800-900 at one of those meetings when I give them what I'm going to show you. When I do it for Rotary, and I'm counting this as Rotary, I charge $297 for the same bundle, because let's face it, people in a GKIC were used to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 products. A $900 product to them is a lunch. You know, for most of us, it's not a lunch. It's a pretty substantial investment. Sure. So I made it $297, or 2 payments of $160. So it's easy to do. You get reading, writing, memory, and math. And I'm giving you an addition. And that by itself on my website is $497. And you're getting it for $297. And then I have 12 advanced lessons, which are a lesson a month to keep building up your knowledge base. And those are $247. That's free. I'm not charging for that. And that's also for the kids that you want to help. I'm giving that to them as well. Then I have a How to Write a Book in a Day program, which is a book, a webinar, a DVD, whatever it is you want to do. You can do it in one day. It's really easy when you know how. It's not hard. So that's included, and that's $497. So it's $297 for everything, or 2 payments of $160. Would you be interested if it was free? Anyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. When you get the program, I'll set you up as a referral partner. And I have a video of what I just did. And I even have a little bit more. I have writing on it. We don't have time for that. And you can send them through a tracking link to watch the video, free. They can say, great, I liked it, or they can buy it at the end. If they buy it, I'll give you 30% commission. So if 3 of your referrals convert, your program is free. And you can start making money after that. So this way, you can try the program for yourself, risk-free, and be able to get the money back by helping other people do what you just did. Right? Do you know anyone who needs to know any of this? Someone who's got a kid in school, or someone who's got a lot of things to learn for their business? If that's all they do, that's fine. If they have a brain, they'll look at this, say, I could use that. That would help me. Plus, I have nothing to risk. I can get my money back if it doesn't work, and it'll help me, which I think is pretty fair. So if you're interested, before you leave, fill out the forms. I have the programs in my bag. I have a square so we can run the card right there, so you don't have to give me a card. I'll just run it electronically. I just need your email and your name, because the online stuff, I have to send it somewhere, and I need an email and a name. Any questions? Hope you enjoyed it. Come up at the end, and I'll help you. If you have questions, come up at the end. I'll be happy to work with you. Thank you for having me. And the people watching online, if you go to FromHoward.com/learning bundle, You won't get the free book. You'll get the 12 lessons and the learning program, but the book thing is only for you people here live.
And you have the actual DVDs and stuff.
Yeah, they're in the bag. I have them right. You take them home.
I figured that's why you had the bag.
Yeah, that's why. I love taking bags around.
The bag man.
I'm the bag
New
man.
York.
I also have flash drives. If you prefer flash drive to DVDs, some people do. You do have that option. You can get it on a flash drive.
Great. Thanks, Howard.
Thank you.
Give him a hand.
Mention like a call to action. Have a clear call to action everywhere, but keep in mind that customer value journey. What is your goal with that platform? If it's an entry level, like people are just becoming aware of you and you're just trying to initially engage them, then you should just have one message. What is it you want people to do?